listening to Give God 90, where we're not afraid of the tough biblical questions, because we will dig through the language, the culture, and the history to find the truth revealed in the words of our Creator.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to August, where in the Northern Hemisphere it is always hot, no matter where you're at. I've lived across the United States, and August is hot. I am being closely monitored and supervised this evening.
Hello, everyone.
So, at least I have that going for me. I know I promised to get the new video out from the interview I did with Logan Crawford. I have not received that link yet, so I'm still waiting on that. That's why it's not up yet. So as soon as it comes in, I will get that out. Other than that, check out GiveGod90.com, authorjerrymitchell.com. Order lots of books. Hopefully the advertisements are done. Right? You're looking at me like I missed something.
Everybody, please ring those bells.
Oh, yeah. Do the likes, the shares, and all that good stuff that makes it easier for people to find us. I wasn't sure I wanted to talk about this, but I've seen a lot of things where some of these self-proclaimed prophets are talking about the American president. Don't believe it. Some of them are alluding to the Revelation passage about the beast being in power for 42 months. If you think the current American president is the beast, no. It doesn't fit the rest of the passage, okay? It's similar, yes, there are some similarities, but remember what it says. He was in power for 42 months, and then he passed power along. Yes, from January a couple years ago to last month was 42 months, but he's still in power, or as much power as he was ever in. Believe it or not, the American president, I know we call him the leader of the free world and all that good stuff. The reality is he is only 1/3 of the United States government. He is supposed to set an example, but he's only 1/3 of the government. We have 3 equal parts. And even though the executive branch is given to leadership, he has to answer to the judicial and to the legislative branch. That's what sets this nation apart. That's what the founding fathers were so afraid of, and they didn't want a king. They didn't want a monarchy. They said, no. We need a way to make sure that what we just went through never happens again. Well, unfortunately, and not to get real political with this, we're dealing with it, but now we have a lot of people who think they're kings, but they can't seem to rule at the moment. So if you happen to live in the United States, my advice this year is don't re-elect anybody, okay? Just don't. Let's just wipe the slate clean, start all over. See if we can get some folks in there that actually care about the people instead of themselves. Enough said. What I'm going to talk about tonight isn't what I'd planned to talk about. But we have a 13-month-old puppy. And 13-week-old puppy, I'm sorry. 13-week-old puppy. And she likes to get up somewhere between 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning to go outside. And when you go back to bed, sometimes it takes a minute to go back to sleep. And I was laying there the other morning, and I was thinking, oh, that's what that means. I'd been reading some things earlier that day. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, the Lord said to me. Nope, that's not it. Because this, I'm pretty sure, was my thought. All right? I'm sure this came from me. And what I want to look at is how modern believers are rejecting their greatness. And it's not just Christians. It's our Jewish brothers and sisters. It's just about everybody who says, yes, the God of Abraham is the creator of the universe. So to begin with, we're going back in time, and we're going to go back to Genesis. If you want to read those passages right there.
Then the Lord said to Abram, leave your country, your relatives, and your father's family. Go to the land I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. I will make you famous, and you will be a blessing to others. I will bless those who bless you. I will place a curse on those who harm you. And all the people of the earth will be blessed through you. Genesis chapter 12, verse 1 through 3. After these things happened, the Lord spoke his word to Abram in a vision. He said, Abram, don't be afraid. I will defend you, and I will give you a great reward. Genesis chapter 15, verse 1.
All right. So what do we see? Abram is promised to be made a great nation. And after a few years, right, he's been following what he was told to follow. He seems to forget. So, the Creator reminds him he would be given a great reward. Now, Abram kind of argues a little bit about this, and the Almighty says, I'll take care of it, don't worry. That's my paraphrase. That's how he would say it probably to me, okay? You don't have anything to worry about, I'll take care of it. So we're going to skip ahead just a little bit, this time to Exodus.
Then Moses went up on the mountain to God. The Lord called to him from the mountain. The Lord said, say this to the family of Jacob and tell this to the people of Israel. Every one of you has seen what I did to the people of Egypt. You saw how I carried you out of Egypt. I did it as an eagle carries her young on her wings, and I brought you here to me. So now obey me and keep my agreement. Do this, and you will be my own possession, chosen from all nations. Even though the whole world is mine, you will be my kingdom of priests. You will be a nation that belongs to me alone. You must tell the Israelites these words. So Moses went down and called the elders of the people together. He told them all the words the Lord had commanded him to say. And all the people answered together, we will do everything he has said. Then Moses took their answer back to the Lord. Exodus chapter 19, verses 3 through 8.
So the people accepted this great honor, right? The Almighty says, here's what I'm proposing. And they said, we're with you. We can do this. They agreed to be set apart. They agreed to be special because they were going to belong to him. And as he had promised Abraham, they would become a great nation. Now, the idea in these passages is actually twofold. There was going to be a great number, a great many, right? They were going to be large in size as far as numbers go. And they would be considered great because of their devotion to our Creator. So it's kind of not divided. It goes hand in hand. And this idea that there would be so many, and they would be his, and they would be devoted to the Creator. Now, we know, because history records, that they messed up. They messed up big time, right? They completely failed to be faithful. And they received the punishments from God for that. So we're going to skip ahead just a little bit further in time. A couple thousand years. So if you want to read that next passage.
Don't think that I have come to destroy the law of Moses or the teachings of the prophets. I have not come to destroy their teachings, but to do what they said. I tell you the truth, nothing will disappear from the law until heaven and earth are gone. The law will not lose even the smallest letter or the smallest part of a letter until all has happened. Whoever refuses to obey any command and teaches other people not to obey that command will be the least important in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever obeys the law and teaches other people to obey the law will be great in the kingdom of heaven. I tell you that you must do better than the teachers of the law and the Pharisees. If you are not better than they are, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. That's Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 through 20.
I tell you the truth. Unless you do better than the pastors you're sitting under, you will not be considered great in the kingdom. Oh, wait. Did I just say that? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. What we read in this passage is a warning. If we reject the sacred words of our Creator, we will not be considered great. But when we choose to be obedient to His word and teach others to be obedient to His word, to live the way they're designed to live, we will be considered great, not by mankind, not by each other, but by the Creator Himself. I was thinking about these things. I had to ask, why would anybody really want to be least? Why would they not want to be considered great? Because it seems like everybody wants to be considered great, right? Everybody wants fame. Everybody wants fortune. Everybody wants to be rich and wealthy and happy. But you see, what we want is to be rich so that we can do what we want to do. We don't want to become wealthy so that we can do what the Almighty would have us do. You know, I can imagine that we can think of a few reasons. You know, we think money makes things easier, right? We think prestige brings something special. We think fame brings something special to us. But each of those things comes from a spirit of self-lust. I know that sounds a little weird because most of us think of lust being sexual. But lust, in reality, in the original definitions, meant it was just something that you wanted to satisfy yourself. Money, prestige, fame. You want it to satisfy yourself, not someone else. You know, people today, they have this concept of what's in it for me. How can this benefit me? How can I be rich and famous? But to be considered great by our Creator, what do we need to do? Well, we need to treat others with respect and dignity, right? The way we want to be treated. Well, respect and dignity doesn't mean that people bow down to you, does it? It simply means that they treat you with respect and dignity, the way you're supposed to treat others. I hope that makes sense, because that is not circular reasoning. It's back and forth. It's linear. We're supposed to help each other. We're supposed to love our Creator with all of our heart and all of our soul, all of our mind, and everything we have. Let's think about the Ten Commandments for a moment. How do they start out again? Oh, You will have no other gods in my face. Means no pagan gods, no idols, not even yourself. Not even yourself. Think about that. Then he goes on, remember the Sabbath, right? His Sabbath, not our Sabbath. You see, our Creator begins by saying He comes first. He is the important one. And when he's done, making sure we should understand that, then he goes on to say, this is how you treat other people. You don't murder, you don't commit adultery, you don't covet your neighbor's whatever. You don't lie, you don't cheat, you don't steal. All that short list of things that we shouldn't do. He doesn't need to go into the long list of things that we're free to do, like helping each other, loving each other, being kind to each other, making sure that if somebody's in trouble, we help take care of them. Because each of us have our own individual skills and talents that we can do that in whatever way we do. We have to remember to put His desires above our own. His desires come above our desires. They come above the desires of our family and of our friends. But there are some, actually today there are many, who choose to reject the Creator's greatness. They choose to ignore His sacred word. And sadly, a lot of them claim to be believers. They claim to be Christians. They claim to be observant Jewish folks from whatever sect of Judaism they want to belong to. But they ignore it. And if that's not bad enough, some of them are pastors. Some of them are preachers. Some of them are rabbis. Some of them are elders. Some of them sing in the choir. Some of them play the piano, the organ. Some of them, stand up there in their worship bands. And they talk about how great God is. And then as soon as they step back into the pews, or they step back into the office, they step through a door, they are rejecting the very thing they claim they promote. They twist the words of the Creator. They twist the words of the apostles to suit their own desires. When they teach others to reject God's rules, they will be least in the kingdom. And I know some of you are thinking, well, at least I'm still in the kingdom. That's not a good way to look at it. I had this conversation a year or so ago with a friend of ours, and I asked, if the lake of fire is in what we would consider heaven now, right? Because it's just outside that door. Is that considered in the kingdom? You see where I'm going with that, right? You might be in the kingdom, but you're in the dungeon in the kingdom. Worse than that, you're in the lake of fire in the dungeon in the kingdom. It kind of sounds like there was an old lady that swallowed the fly, right? How bad do you think it can be? Multiply it by a lot. And I mean a whole lot. Would they even be could you even say they're in the kingdom if they're in the dungeon? And I'm not really sure that, because that's going to happen just before heaven and earth are shaken apart and remade. So are they still going to remain in the kingdom, or is it going to be separated completely? Is it going to be torn apart, left out there on its own? You see, if you're not included, it's a, you may have a lot of friends there, but it's going to be a very, very inhospitable place. And Yeshua actually, Jesus actually said something else. If you want to read that next passage.
If one of these little children believes in me, and someone calls that child to sin, then it will be very bad for that person. It would be better for him to have a large stone tied around his neck and be drowned in the sea. Matthew chapter 18, verse 6.
Did you hear that? It's better to leave this world behind before you can cause someone else to sin. I'm going to be blunt here. It's better if you just die than if you cause someone else to sin. That's what that verse means. It's just better to leave right now. And then, let's not forget about this other verse either, because it's kind of scary when you think about it.
Not everyone who says, "You are my Lord," will enter the kingdom of heaven. The only people who will enter the kingdom of heaven are those who do the things that my Father in heaven wants. On the last day, many people will say to me, "You are our Lord. We spoke for you, and through you we forced out demons and many miracles." Then I will tell them clearly, "Get away from me, you who do evil. I never knew you." Matthew chapter 7, verse 21 through 23.
See, if you choose to be considered great by the world's standards and accepted by the things and the people of this world, chances are you're not going to be considered great by the Creator's standards. And let me remind you, our Creator is the ultimate judge. His verdict is final, and you don't get to appeal it. Okay, that's where it stops. Whatever he says goes. Because as the title of my second book indicates, it's God's universe. We have to play by his rules, right? If you want to be considered great by the Creator's standard of measure and choose to live the way you're designed to live, then you're going to hear something a little different. Well done. Good job. Welcome into the kingdom. The choice is yours. The choice is always yours. You hear me say that often, don't you? You have a choice to make, sometimes several times a day. Whether you're going to do what's right in the eyes of the Almighty, or whether you're going to do what you think everybody thinks you should do. But what the world thinks you should do usually is not what the Creator says you should be doing. Right? You can have your reward today. You can have fame and fortune. You can make a deal with the devil, as they say. You can be rich. You can be self-indulgent. I know, you turn on the news and you see a lot of rich, self-indulgent people, don't we? Where do you think they're going to wind up? Or you can wait and you can receive your greatest reward on Judgment Day, when he says, "Good job. Welcome home. Come on in." So who do you want to consider you great? The world? Or the one who created everything, including you? You know, you can choose to reject greatness for fame or fortune. I suggest you choose very, very wisely. So until Monday, right?
Until Monday.
We wish you many, many blessings, everyone.
Be blessed all.